All right. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the Arts Education on Zoom panel. My name is Yvette Kojic, and I am the program director at Broadway Workshop. We're an educational arts program that has pivoted to 100% virtual programming since March of 2020. And with us today, we have Leo Ash Evans and Joshua Turchin. Leo is the co-owner and director of Musical Theater College Auditions, or MTCA, and has also appeared on Broadway in shows like School of Rock and Shuffle Along and Jesus Christ Superstar. And Joshua is an accomplished performer, composer, and musician who wrote an original musical, The Perfect Fit, which premiered when he was just 12 years old at Ken Davenport's New York City Theater Festival and won the Best Book and Ensemble. So thank you for joining us today to discuss what arts education is looking like now in 2021 and, this past year during the pandemic in 2020 as well. Since we've been on lockdown, arts education has needed to change a lot and in order to carry on. So we are going to discuss what that's been like for all of us. So I know I just gave you a little introduction, but I'd love for you to just pop in and say hello, and if there's anything else you want to tell us about yourself and what you do.
Awesome. You want me to go first? You want Josh to go?
Leo, take it away.
Okay, great deal. I thank you for that intro. I love all of my work that I do with MTCA. I went to school at Carnegie Mellon for musical theater, and when I graduated and I started to work right away, I really was passionate about wanting to help teenagers pursue their dreams. So it was something that I immediately started to build into my career with my performing. And like you said, I've been in Broadway in those three shows, which I loved. I was playing Riff in West Side Story on the West End years ago. But I've really enjoyed a kind of multifaceted career of being a director, an actor. I do a lot of voiceover work too, so I'm all for the whole, get yourself messy in as many areas of the arts as you can. It just kind of, they all feed one another. So yeah, I love my jobs.
Awesome. Hey, Josh.
Hi. Yeah, I'm a professional actor, singer, dancer, composer, musician, and writer. As you said, I wrote a show called The Perfect Fit. Recently, it was actually produced, or it was made into like an album by Broadway Records, which was so cool. And the fun thing is, it was all recorded entirely in quarantine, which it was definitely a really, really fun process. And I'm also like a music director. And so I'm very used to taking lessons, but also sometimes having to teach people different things. And I find both aspects just so much fun.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna go back and forth a little bit from some of the things that I just heard from you. Leo, you said that you went to Carnegie Mellon, so I want to talk about what your audition process was like versus what is the audition process like today in the state of the world?
Yeah, it's so true. When I was doing this in 1998, when I was the year of the senior in high school, I think I auditioned for 7 schools, 8 schools maybe, and now my students are like doubling, if not sometimes tripling the amount of schools because of what's available to them virtually, especially this year where it really changed because of the pandemic. So, I mean, it's interesting. It's always been a competitive field, as we know. So it was still super competitive then, but it's 10 times more competitive now because there's a supply that meets the demand of how many people want to major in musical theater and acting. And, the percentage of work is higher every year, not quite the volume of the amount of people that go into it professionally, but I certainly love that there are triple the amount of programs that exist from when I was 16, 17 years old. So it makes my job really fun as a director to help strategize finding the right schools for people based on, do they want academics? Do they want conservatory? Do they want a large campus? Do they want a city school? So it's fun knowing programs all over the country to help students select where they want to go, as opposed to when I did it, it was just the same 6, 7 schools because that's all that existed.
Do you also find that you're getting more students from like globally, I would say, just because, something like, we didn't have that, like you said, we didn't have access to like YouTube and all of these things. So you had to come to New York to be able to see a Broadway show. And like, if you didn't have those resources, if you didn't have Instagram, TikTok, Josh, we'll talk to you all about the social media and stuff, you had to come to New York. And so now you have all of these virtual experiences where you can be exposed to Broadway. Are you actually finding that it's like reaching more students? And
Yes,
Josh touched on this as well, but go ahead, Leo.
yeah, the accessibility went way up. And of course, since the default change that like it was okay to dance or do more singing and acting virtually, it, to your point, it reaches audiences not only throughout the country, but internationally for me. I'm able to talk to students in far, far miles and miles away that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to. Some of MTCA was built already with monologue and song coaching. We already did do that via Skype. Remember Skype? No offense, Skype. Now we're on Zoom. But it's like the again the amount of options just went way up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh, do you, I want to talk a little bit about how you recorded your album, you said, during the pandemic. So what was that process like for you?
So first we got our cast together. The really cool thing is we had a Tony Award winner on the album on one of the songs, Laura Benanti. She was so amazing to work with. Then we got the songs, we got the sheet music, we started orchestrating, and then we got a live band. Well, not a live band in the sense that they were all playing together, but like we had a bunch of different musicians recording to a track from their homes, which was so cool. They sent us the tracks, we put that together, and then we sent it all off to the singing artists, our vocalists. And the really cool thing is that I got to work with each performer, so I could like really tell them like note goes here, make sure to take a breath here, like that, to make it sound like. And the really hard part was the group song, because there's like one really big group song in the album, and that was definitely a challenge because we had a bunch of different kids and teenagers singing in it, and I had to record like each melody line and send to all of the performers. And after we got all those tracks, we sent it to someone to get mixed and mastered, and somehow we came out with an album. I don't really know how it happened. It just sort of happened.
So everyone's recording from home, and like when you're saying you're working with all of these performers, you're doing this all virtually on Zoom.
Yes. Well, not only through Zoom at the time, I think I was like doing it through FaceTime too, because I was still like relatively new at Zoom and I didn't know much about it.
Yeah. I feel like, Josh, you do a lot on TikTok, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you do, like what your outreach is, what you're doing through like the social media channels in order to get like fans and Broadway lovers excited about what you do.
So with TikTok, it's a weird thing with TikTok. There are like different like sides to TikTok. The side like I'm on is like the more music side of TikTok. So people who like Broadway and musicals and music in general, it hits the For You page, like the algorithm, and the video gets sent out to all of the people who like watch Broadway and that type of stuff. And what the type of content I produce on TikTok is more like fun, like orchestration projects and new songs that I wrote, and like all that cool stuff.
Amazing. I love it. I love the way that social media can connect us, across the world, really. We all just love this thing, this musical theater thing, this Broadway thing. And now we have this platform, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, all of the different social networks to come together and support musical theater, which is Amazing. All right. So I'm going to come back to you, Leo. I actually just want to get a little bit more background about your journeys to Broadway and to like where you are today, because I actually think that that is so fascinating. And as I'm like chatting with both of you, like I just want to know a little bit more about where you started and how you got here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I would say, well, I was born in Pittsburgh and north of the city. And right away there was a thing called Kids on Broadway. It was like a little performing troupe and we weren't on Broadway, but we would do like little reviews of Broadway shows. And I mean, it just spoke to me on another level. I had been playing soccer and I was a swimmer and, I did all of like those other, normal teen things. But then once Kids on Broadway entered my life, and then I was in this performing troupe, North Star Kids. It was all so just joyful. And it was also, there was discipline to it, which I thought was really helpful to me early in my life and career, that I didn't only just learn skill sets of the arts, but I learned how to collaborate with others right away. And I learned the importance of that and the discipline of having rules and rehearsal starting and, the do's and don'ts and being polite. And that's really kind of been a kind of underbelly to my whole career too, and how I help my students and how I've always led my own professional career too, in the communication to casting directors and agents. And, I've always liked the business part of show business. I remember our ex-president of the union once wrote a article for the Equity newsletter called, it's called Show Business, not Show Craft. And the business part of it always was as equally exciting to me as the artistic parts of it. So I learned early, just even as a kid, the artistic stuff for sure, the singing, dancing, acting, and loving all that, but then also the business, professional side of things too.
I love that. What is it again? It's not show.
It's not called show craft. It's called show business.
I love that.
So the idea of the business part of it, not just we're all like making music and having like that's fun.
Craft. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. My craft, my art. Yeah, exactly.
Right. All right, Josh, tell us your story.
Okay, so originally I'm from Florida. Now, I grew up, I was put into soccer when I've always had a love for musical theater and composing and singing and doing all that stuff. But I was put into soccer and I hated it with a burning passion. I was like, nope. So when I was 8, we came up to New York for 3 weeks. Obviously, I'm still in New York now. So we came up for 3 weeks and we never left. That's pretty much what happened. I got signed with an agent and then I got my first job, which was A Christmas Story on tour. So my family and I, we talked and we're like, what do we do now? What are we supposed to do? So we decided we're going to stay in New York. And that's pretty much how I got my start, at least.
That's amazing. I've known Josh for a very long time. He was a Broadway workshop student when he first got here.
Oh, I love that.
That's actually one of the first things I did when I came up here.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So thank you I kind of went back in time to get more of your backgrounds, but as I was talking to both of you, I was like, I would love to know a little bit more about that. Okay. So as like the last year has presented its challenges, we're on Zoom. We're figuring out what we do is not something that is normally happening here. We're used to being in studios with people, and when we're coaching songs, being able to say, all right, like physicalize something, but we've pivoted and we are doing this thing on Zoom. And I know, Leo, you said you were doing it on Skype beforehand, but what was that process like for you? And also, like, what are some of the challenges that you faced? And yeah, we'll start there.
Yeah. Well, the hardest thing for me at first, of course, from the shock of it happening because we're in a pandemic and everyone's health, of course, was in such a scare, was the idea of I didn't know how the professional scene was going to handle being as strict about the technical elements of lighting and microphones and backdrops, and I battled as a director and as an actor myself, because I was never an actor that liked doing self tapes. I was always the actor that wanted to go to the casting office. I didn't want to be responsible for taping myself. I'm like, ooh, I'm bad at electronics. My best friend always calls me, Leo, you're electronically deficient. That's what he always would say about me, which I am better at it now because of this pandemic, but it's not my strength. But the point is I just didn't know where would the field, how strict would it get and how quickly. So I had to navigate a fine line of continuing to prepare my high school students artistically, which of course is by far the most important part of the college prep process, and also as a professional actor, but then knowing that if the competitive field is all getting better with their Zoom lighting, backdrop, ring lights, I couldn't ignore that stuff either. So I had to walk that fine line with parents and students about, making purchases for things that felt like it was a long-term investment for their career anyway, versus, hey, if you have a big window and it's got good natural light, you don't have to have a ring light, So it was like the balancing act, because college already is a very expensive endeavor with applying and auditioning itself and, all of that jazz. So I think that was the hardest part. But then I got to tell you, Yvette, it's really interesting. Pretty quickly, about a month in, I could feel all of my students going, we got it. Like, Leo, I want to go to college. I don't want to keep talking about Zoom. I want to become a better actor, singer, dancer. What tools do I need? And then that really inspired me to go, Leo, you're the one who's still hanging on to what you know. They don't really know it any differently because this is their first time applying for college. So in a really cool way, I quickly realized, oh yeah, like they're not letting their dreams die. They want to go to school for musical theater and acting. And then I was there to say, well, then I'm going to help you. So pretty quickly, the whole move your couch to the side of the walls to dance wasn't so weird.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've been seeing it all too. And, at Broadway Workshop, we've pivoted all of our programming, which is including our main stage musicals. We're
Amazing.
figuring it out. We're figuring out green screens. We have, it's so tech heavy, and it's not necessarily musical theater in the sense of performing it on a stage, and like it's figuring out, they're also getting TV film class out of this. We brought in Taylor Latterman, who is helping us direct the show because she's done Peter Pan Live on NBC. So she's got that camera, she knows the camera thing, but we're saying, like, these are the things that you'll need. If you need help, we can figure out an economical way to make a green screen. How do you make the light work if it's not going to be the professional ring light? Okay.
Right.
And it's so fascinating. But like in the beginning, when we were also doing bigger workshops with 40 kids, but breaking them out into groups of 10 and all of us on the tech side are like, how do we make this work? Like, and we're like, kids, have you done a breakout room? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah, right. They're like, we got it.
We're in Zoom school right now. We do breakout rooms all the time. We're like, oh, it's this really cool thing.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's like we helped each other in a beautiful way. I mean, they always inspire me, but I did feel that this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh, I know you're teaching classes, and are you also taking classes as well? What has been your experience throughout the pandemic with all these tech issues and challenges, and how have you navigated everything?
So, sort of like what Leo said, like near the beginning of the pandemic, well, I was in Trevor. We were about to open the show off Broadway, and we were like, Broadway shut down, and they announced at rehearsal that we were going to go on a pause for 3 weeks. Obviously, it's been longer, unfortunately, than 3 weeks now. But we were sort of like, well, what do we do now? Why Broadway shut down? People are out of work, and that's why I sort of had the idea of making the early night show virtual edition. We bring in a bunch of different Broadway and TV stars, and I interview them. They sing some songs. It's so much fun. And basically what ended up happening, because of course it's Zoom, there have been like some funny like tech issues that have happened. Like I remember like one time we were like rehearsing for something over Zoom, and someone went, something funny happened to me. And that's what happened. And like, it was the most like slapstick, like comedy ever, but it was hilarious. But yeah, I've taught some master classes about like songwriting, and I've also taken a bunch of music and singing and dance lessons over the pandemic. It's definitely been a little hard with the dance lessons, because I mean, dancing over Zoom is a bit challenging, especially if you're dancing in your small apartment and you don't have enough space. um but yeah, that's pretty much what's been happening during the pandemic. And I feel like really though, we've grown as performers a lot more because we've gone through this experience together and we've grown together. And it's been such an amazing journey. And I hope that soon we'll be back performing live.
Yeah, we
Amen.
will be.
Amen to that, Josh. Well said.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You mentioned the early night show, right? That's the podcast, right?
Yeah. So the early night show, originally it was like a cabaret variety show I did at the Green Room 42 here in New York City. And we were going to do another one, and then Broadway shut down. So I decided to make the show virtual. But actually, I believe it's in literally 2 days. I'm going to be doing the early night show live again. Of course, like socially distant and all that stuff, at the Green Room 42. I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm really, I can't wait.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. I do agree, Josh. I think that the dance aspect is the most challenging thing. Do you do dance for MTCA as well, or is it just vocal? It's dance as well.
We do dance too. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it more one-on-one though, or in a group?
It used to only be classes at Pearl Studios. We always did Pearl in New York City. And I would laugh that if I had any students anywhere around the country say to me, well, Leo, can you videotape your dance class? I would look at them and go, no, we don't do that in the arts. No, you have to find a local class. I don't want you just watching a video. And now here we are teaching classes. All of my dance coaches, they teach classes out of their apartments. They would clear the furniture. I hired about 12 big faculty members from competitive programs all over the country back in August. And all of the dance classes, there were 6 of them. All of the teachers were in their homes, maybe a dance studio here and there, but for the most part in their homes, clearing their furniture. And then, yes, we do a lot of one-on-one dance assessments. We do choreography. A lot of these colleges ask for pre-screen choreography. So we help choreograph routines or combinations for each of our students too.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I know, and something that you just said, like hiring your teachers, that is something for me that has been such a silver lining, I guess, to the whole Broadway shutdown, because X amount of people are out of jobs. I think it's around 90,000 jobs on the Broadway community and as a whole. And so, everyone's out of a job, and I think a lot of performers have pivoted to other types of jobs as well, like starting up a business of some kind. But a lot of them have pivoted to teaching and being able to be someone who's on that end of the education spectrum, being able to say, hey, here's something for you to do, and connecting with kids from all around the world that they want to be doing this, but might not have the resources to come to New York City and get the training in person. And now it's like you said, we never would have, when in March of 2020, when we were talking about doing this on Zoom, we're like, it won't work. It's not going to work. Like doing these coachings and these dance classes and improv. How do you think? And now, we're working out the tech and,
didn't you feel too, you learned from them that they need the arts. They needed, it's like I learned, it's not only that they wanted to, they needed it. And then I'm like, right, that's what we all do the arts for. I mean, that was that part of it that it reignited for me a lot of why I love it. I mean, I'm sure we all know people that have left it too, people who then realize maybe this is the time to take a career path. But I know for me personally, it just ignited why I love the arts so much.
Absolutely. We were zooming into a high school just in the middle of nowhere, and they were in their auditorium. And it's like you could tell that the group of students were maybe like not the most popular kids in the school. And when the
Right.
Broadway guest was talking to them about the social issues that they're also passionate about, performing and the arts and just everything, you just felt them light up. And it's we get the sweetest notes from parents and students that talk about how important these moments are for them, because everything has been so uncertain and
So uncertain.
crazy.
I agree.
I want to know what your thoughts are moving forward. So we've pivoted. We're doing the Zoom thing. We're online. We're figuring it out. We figured it out. We're still uncertain. When are things going to open? When can we be in a studio? When is it safe? All of the things. How much of what we've been doing over the course of the last year do you think is going to become a staple and something that we continue to do moving forward?
Yeah. Me first, Josh, and either. I would say it is more here to stay than go away. I've talked to a lot of department heads of universities and conservatories that I'm close with, and they've all quickly said what we've learned as far as time management and money saved in order to honor and offer online virtual auditions is so beneficial, not only to families that wouldn't otherwise be able to afford traveling to the college, or just from a standpoint of their own personal schedules and what they're able to accomplish through multiple rounds of auditions. If they call back a student or two, it's not a charge to the family making them fly out to a campus. So there are a lot of benefits. I think certainly because we're talking live theater, it will still always first and foremost be the first choice for faculty members and students to be able to meet people live in a room for all of those obvious reasons. The intangible of losing in-person energy is significant for a lot of students that I work with that are extroverts, the ones that really need to feed off of other individuals. They struggled with this format and this platform a lot. I think I'm better for it now. I know how to help people more now that I've got a year under my belt. But I think the idea now of will you audition in person or virtually will always be a part of the college prep audition equation. And I also think for my professional career too, I auditioned for the Blacklist about a month ago, and it was a co-star with about 6 lines. And I remember I talked to my agents about it, and my agents even said, Leo, it might not be as common anymore that you ever go to a casting office for a 5-line, 6-line co-star. Why? Like, it's just all the time in your day that you're saved. You don't have to travel to the casting office, and the casting office will now trust that the default of so many actors turning it in will look good. So it's just changed the whole medium. So electronically deficient Leo has to keep getting better because it's not going to go away. So I've learned to kind of ask for help. I have friends that always help me with, putting myself on tape and recording each other. I think that part is here to stay.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Josh, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I do think that at least some aspects of this are here to stay. Like, for example, if like for programs which use like a bunch of kids from around the world, definitely we should keep like at least some form of Zoom. Like, I mean, maybe like soon a future update it'll be like less delays on Zoom, because that would definitely be helpful for like live, like playing piano and singing for voice lessons. So like if someone's away, they'll still be able to take lessons and all of that fun stuff.
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, it is interesting, like tracks and stuff were so important. You talking about playing, Josh, like we would help students, but then to your point, they're playing the track. Where are they playing the track? With a device separate from the computer where the Zoom call is happening? Are you on a laptop? Is it on a phone? Do you have a speaker? Some of this stuff high school kids already had to do at Unifieds. That's a location where people do auditions. So they had to have tracks, but this took it to another level of what was live, what was the reverb, the delay. I'm so with you. That stuff, I can't wait to be done. Like for me to sing in the room with someone playing, there's no like substitute. I mean, when you get to make music with someone live in the room, a singer and an accompanist, it's everything. It's just I miss that.
Yeah, absolutely. That tech stuff, sometimes it's like if you have bad internet and you're trying like, you're trying to learn and you're on a delay and the sound. I know Zoom,
Oh,
sometimes you have to change your sound settings, otherwise when you hit a high note it like bleeds it out, all of that. And so it's like all of those. I agree. I'm so
oh.
so ready to be done with.
Like there are songs that I'll sing that like when accompanists play the song, like I sing I Can't Be Bothered Now, that Gershwin song a lot. And
Yeah.
some accompanists that like are so good will like zhuzh it and there's like cool chords. That's what I miss. I miss like a musician doing their thing and then they make me a better singer. Like I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Absolutely. We also joke too. We were talking before about like going to Pearl or the studios that you go to. We use Ripley a lot. Like
Yeah.
it's going to be so hard to get our teachers now. I think everyone's going to want to go back to like, human interaction, but we're like, it's going to be so hard to get our teachers to like come down to Ripley. We're going to be like, come on, you have to come
That's so true.
now. You can't just like roll out of bed. It's going to take
Right.
45 minutes to get there. Like you talking about the Blacklist audition was making me think through that.
Yeah.
We joke about it because it's funny too. Sometimes even on Zoom, people are a minute or two late, and we're like, "Okay, but you didn't have to go anywhere. Like you
That's
can't
so true.
blame, you can't blame the person on the street who like bumped into you. Like whatever your excuses today."
Yeah. What about the beginning too, where that idea of, well, I know you're at home, we're in a pandemic, therefore you're available. That whole idea of available schedules. And it's like, well, yes, I might be at home, but that doesn't mean I'm free for you. It was like that whole give and take. It was fascinating to persevere through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we just have a few minutes left. And I feel like we've touched a lot of the points about, just getting through this last year and what we've had to do to make art and student like education happen. I want to just, in the sense of, we talked about what we think will stick moving forward. But what are some of the things, I guess we kind of talked about this a little bit too, but like, what are some of the things that you're most looking forward to going back to, in-person studios and interactions?
You take it, Josh.
Okay. One thing like I at least missed that I'm really looking forward to, just being in the studios. Like Ripley and Pearl, I miss them so much. I haven't seen them in over a year, and like it feels so weird because like a year ago we would have to go to Pearl and Ripley like nonstop for like rehearsals and auditions, but then suddenly like now they're closed, and it hurts. I mean, at least we have Open Jar now. Open Jar. It's like a studio place in Midtown New York City. They've been like really helping us get through the pandemic as performers. They have been so safe, and they even like make like masks and hand sanitizer, and it's really, really amazing what they've been doing.
Yeah, I agree. Studio, I'm so with you, Josh. Just like the going in and out of the room with casting directors or with my students, every single event that we did this year virtually, our master classes, our mock auditions, dance classes, I would do parent meetings all the time. As soon as it was over and we were saying bye, thank you, oh Leo, it was so good to see you, and we're waving, and then the computer goes off, I always was just a little empty. It's just not the same. Like I would be hugging them. I would be shaking hands. Even if I wasn't doing that, just in the room energy. I mean, we do a big Q&A for parents and students at the Jerome Robbins Theater. That's in Midtown, close to the West Side. Gorgeous theater, right? And I would have parents all up the seats, and it just felt amazing. And there's the clapping, not even to be clapped for, but it's the energy of a clap and hugging. And so I just can't wait for touch and energy in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree with all of those things. I'm ready to be back in the studio, just seeing, people that going back and forth, and I agree. It's the same, there's always a little bit of like, okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.
as you're leaving the Zoom. I just have like a quick question. Are there any sort of things that you've done? Do you get Zoom fatigue? Like, how do you get through that? Because that for me is something I feel like when you're in the room and there's an audience of people at the Jerome Robbins Theater, you don't have to be so like I
Right.
put myself on Zoom like I'm paying attention. I want you to know I'm paying attention. By the end of it, I get the zoomies and I'm just like my eyes hurt. Glasses right here. What are some of the
Yvette,
things
did you make that up? The zoomies. That's good. I like that.
I don't know if I saw it or I was just
That's kind of great. The zoomies. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, mine sounds basic, but I would force myself. I had to stand up, walk around. I have a 5-drawer dresser here. So sometimes I would take my computer and actually put it up there and stand for meetings. So I was just on my feet. I would even like stretch and do lunges, and I'm a dancer too. So like I would just move around. I would do isolations. And I mean, it kind of got to the point, it's like the equivalent of me working on sides on the subway or something like that, or what I'm doing with students when I coach them. I just would force myself to get up on my feet, jump up and down. Yeah, but I felt the same way as you, Yvette, where leaning in, it almost felt that I was more noticeable. Yeah, I could see everybody. I would always have my screens on gallery, so I could see the kids as if we were at Pearl Studios together.
Yeah. Josh, do you ever get the zoomies? What do you do?
Very much so. So I've been in online school for the past like 6 years now, and I'm almost in college, which is like, I think I'm going to be in college next year. So I'm like, oh God, I have to prepare now. Okay. But definitely I do get the zoomies. Like if I stay, I'm like, I've been like, before I went on to Zoom, I'm like, oh yeah, I have to stare at a screen all day because that's where my school is. I'm fine with that. No, like doing meetings on Zoom, it's very different from staring at a screen because like there's so many people on the screen. So I also have it on gallery view too. So after like a meeting, I usually just like do something else, like exercise or something like that to like cool down in a way.
Yep. I'm with you. Yeah, it's like you have to do anything other than Zoom. Like, so my class at Carnegie Mellon, we were having every Wednesday night. This was beautiful for like, the first couple weeks, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. And we loved it. And then it started to get the point where I said, guys, I can't do this because I know it's social and I'm on Zoom all day long. I can't do it. Like I said, we can talk on the phone, but I got to walk outside. I just couldn't do it when I didn't have to do it.
Absolutely. I have a hard time too. I know you're supposed to like take your eyes off of the screen for a little, and I forget to do that throughout the day. So by the end, I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, to spin it more into a positive direction while we wrap things up, I just want to know what's something that you've learned about yourself in this last year, pivoting and doing, arts education, working with students globally, all of the things. Like, what is something that you've learned about yourself or your business, your career, anything that you will take with you moving forward?
Well, something that I definitely learned was that I love to teach, especially like teaching music. It's so much fun, like the joy and like the thrill of it. It's so much fun.
That's amazing, Josh.
I think for me, I always had the appreciation of nature. Like I'm a big person who walks in the park. I'm close with my family, my friends, but it's always a balancing act for me all these years of I'm so professionally motivated and driven, which I'm grateful for that comes naturally to me. But at the end of the day, it is a job. And I love my work. I love my job. But I guess because then this pandemic did force more isolation, it reignited and reminded me just as we slowly come out of this, how much I don't want to just get completely lost in my work. That I want to keep maintaining all of the things in my personal life that I want to achieve. Like I'm single. My best friend the other day, he was like, I think you should try the online dating again. I was like, maybe I will. Yeah. Like as opposed to me judging it going, I don't want to do that online dating.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that I think I will be even more keen to make sure I'm motivating myself to do, not just the showbiz stuff.
Absolutely. It's so easy to just like fall into the hole and just like surround ourselves 24/7. I feel like I'm a mixture of both of you. Like Josh, like what you said, I love teaching as well. And, just again, this platform and being able to be so global and have kids from around the world join us and to bring Broadway to them has been so incredible. And then I've also had the same thing where it's like, oh, I'm experiencing life outside of Broadway right now. I
Right.
cannot wait for it to be back. But I'm also getting to, grow a garden, do things outside of it. So that's been fun as well. Well, I want to thank you both for your time today and for chatting with us about arts education and what this last year has been like and what you think it's going to be like moving forward. So thank you, Leo. Thank you, Joshua. And again, my name is Yvette. Thank you all for joining us here at BroadwayCon.
Awesome.
Hey.
Thanks, Yvette. That was super fun.
Thank you.
You're awesome, Josh.
So are you.
Thank you.